what we do at the firm.
So really a lot of different people can utilize your services.
Absolutely. We really think that, for estate planning is for everybody. A lot of people think that it is for when you get older. I'll start thinking about estate planning because nobody really wants to think about what happens, if I die. But estate planning is really so much more than that. It's about what happens if you're incapacitated and who makes medical decisions. And, part of that is who gets my stuff, but how do we pass that on in a meaningful way? And so that's really important to have an estate plan, just, regardless of who you are and what you have. But then we also have a lot of planning geared towards retirement planning. So if you are already in retirement, or if you're thinking about retirement even 5-10 years out, 10 years out is not a long time.
It goes by faster and faster.
It does, and it's so much better if you have that long-term game plan. And so we really like to work with retirees and in near retirement planning to get them set up for retirement.
And when is the best time to start thinking about retirement? I have been in the workforce 10 years. I'm 27 years old. Is it too soon for me to start, working with a wealth management professional?
Not at all. And that is, I actually had a conversation with a client yesterday, and she was only 35. And, I think that that's wonderful because she was starting early. She had a 401k. She had started to save. But she realized the importance of getting good advice now, because if you're not thinking about it, you don't want it to sneak up on you. So for you to have a game plan while you're young, you can actually let your money work hard for you the way it compounds. And so just like estate planning, everybody really needs a good financial plan.
And especially if you have children. That was really my thing. When I had a kid, and I think, okay, no one again wants to think about what's going to happen when I die, but life insurance becomes so much more important in making sure that your minor children are going to be okay. And then even when you don't have minor children, making sure that what you've built up your whole life is going to go where you want it to go.
Absolutely. Definitely if you have minor children, and I know it's so hard to think about. It's so hard. Like as a mom myself, just like I don't want to think about if something happens to both of us. But to make sure you have a game plan as far as who's going to be legally responsible for those kids. Do you have a family member? Do you have somebody else that you trust that would raise them in the manner that you want them raised? And we want to do all this without having to go to court, without it being difficult on the kids or the family. And so definitely having a plan for minor children. But also even when the kids are grown. So a lot of our clients come in and they have children or adult grandchildren. Estate planning and asset protection is still really important, because then we start talking about, when I pass assets on to those kids, how can we do so in a way that's protected against a divorce, a future ex-spouse? Again, nobody wants to think about that, but it happens. I mean,
right, it's life.
The divorce rate is over 50%. So we want to make sure that those assets are protected against a future divorce. If that child was ever sued by a creditor, maybe they had a car accident or had to go through a bankruptcy. So there's a lot of different ways to build in that asset protection and estate planning, and it's really important to work with somebody that can help walk you through all that.
Absolutely. I did want to let everyone know, if you are watching on Facebook, you can actually, comment on this video, give us questions that you might have for Carrie as we're going through this. We'll get to some of them. And then, of course, if you're watching on our live stream and you want to ask a question, hop over to the Region 8 News Facebook page. We are live there as well, and you can ask those questions there. But, Carrie, you're talking about all these things that you might need to protect assets from, and as someone who isn't an attorney, isn't well-versed in that, it seems like an infinite amount of things that can happen, and it's very overwhelming. So, that's where y'all come in. Your entire team is there to make that a lot easier so that I, as a layperson, don't have to think of all those things, right?
Right. And that's one of the things I think that when working with our clients and we're getting a plan put together, when we walk out, I've heard several times, they'll say, Carrie, this was so much easier than I thought. Man, we should have done this sooner. I hear that all the time, and that really, makes me feel good, because it means that I've done my job in explaining it and making it easy. And it can be an easy process. It's all about being informed. We want our clients to make really smart decisions about their money and their loved ones. And so we've really tried to make it a very easy process from start to finish.
And, one of your, big things that you say in your tagline, of course, is to grow that wealth. you don't just want to have it protected. You really are there to help the clients get the most out of their money, let it work for them, like I think you said earlier.
Right, and again, that goes back to so many different things. It goes into asset protection. It goes into good, investment strategies. How do we minimize taxes? And so there's a lot of different strategies when you're talking about protecting and growing wealth.
And of course, leaving that lasting legacy is kind of the part that you talked on already with making sure that it's protected for future generations. But again, those, you are there to serve anyone, whether you're have a lot of money and you're just trying to figure out where the best place to invest is, but also as you're getting ready to retire, say you already have a 401k that you've put into for a lot of years, you can make sure that that's going to last for a long time for them into retirement, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we get a lot of calls where people are getting ready to retire from their job. They have a 401k, but it's like, what do I do now?
Right.
Do I leave it at the company? Do I let it sit there? Are there other options? And maybe this money could be put to work in a better manner. And so, again, that's what we really love to do in working with those clients on retirement planning.
And again, people think a lot of times, oh, I'm too young to retire. I don't need to think about that right now. But you do. It helps.
Yeah, and absolutely. And for some people, retirement planning doesn't mean retire when you're 65. It may mean more about being financially independent. So even if you're 45 or 50, maybe you'll say, I'm going to change career paths, or I really want to go out and start my own business. And so we really look at it from good financial planning, and that's going to give them the freedom and the money to go and do what they want to do.
And, as you're talking about maybe starting a second career, starting that new business, that's another, way you can help people is that good business planning and setting up a small business to succeed.
Absolutely, and that's something that Attorney Stuart Matthews does very well. He does all of our business planning, and we can work with new companies. So like you said, they're wanting to set up an LLC or a corporation. First of all, how do I structure that? How many members do I have? What's the paperwork? How do I need to be taxed? There's a lot of different options, and so Stuart can walk them through that. But we also serve existing businesses. Maybe they're growing, maybe they're hiring employees and independent contractors, and then also on the end of that spectrum, we have business owners that are looking to retire and sell the business, or maybe they want to pass that business on to their children. How do we transition that? And again, create that, value and that legacy for the next generation.
Because taxes as a small business, if you've only ever done personal taxes, it is not the same ball game, is it?
No. And there was a statistic out recently, and I forget the number, but it was like somewhere around 80% of small business owners actually overpay on their taxes. And so, there are a lot of great CPAs out there, but most people don't realize that CPAs aren't really looking to do proactive tax planning. When you bring them your paperwork at the end of the tax year, they're really doing compliance work. They're filling in the boxes. They're saying, okay, this is how much you owe, and that's really it. And that's what makes us very different in our tax planning, is we are looking at what can we do this year to minimize the tax bill next year and in the next 3, 5, 10 years. And so it is very different, but it's something that I love doing the tax planning, because I think our average savings is around $20,000 a year for small business owners. So there's a lot of different things you could do as a business owner with that tax savings. Go hire more employees, put that into operating capital, just to give them that flexibility.
Yeah, that is a lot of money. $20,000 would make a huge difference to most of our small business owners, I know. And being able to say, okay, I can write this off. I didn't realize that. If I make this contribution, that comes off. Again, there's so many facets of tax that are so much more than when I, do my personal taxes at the end of the year.
Yeah, and one of the things too, all of our tax strategies are based off of IRS tax code. So there's not anything that is shady or gray. It is legal strategies available, but most people just don't realize that they're there, or they don't plan ahead to be able to set themselves up to take those strategies.
Right. So let's talk a little bit just about you and your background and your firm, and what makes Quraishi Law and Wealth different from just going to a CPA or being able to try to do this on your own.
Right, and so actually when I first started out with the law firm, I was just an estate planning attorney. I had a background in finance. I had worked for some other wealth management companies. I really had that interest, but when I got out of law school, I wanted to do estate planning, and so that's what I did. And a couple of years into that, I started realizing that my clients were coming in with financial questions, or they were coming in with tax questions, or we were getting some bad advice from the CPA that doesn't know how to deal with our revocable living trust. And it really, called on me to look at how to better serve my clients. And that's where we really got this idea of creating a comprehensive firm, way more than just a law firm or a wealth management company, but really that family office, that one-stop shop, and so that our clients can have integrated planning. We want our tax strategies to work with the legal strategies and the financial strategies. And so over the past, 10 years, we've really been building that out.
And I love, at the top of your website here, one practice, many kinds of clients. What you just described, you were working with one type of client, just doing estate planning, and it really branched out. I know y'all have a lot of experience, not just with you, but the other attorneys in your firm as well, dealing with so many different experiences, different problems that you've probably faced, and learning how to navigate those and make the best for your clients that you're working with then, and then moving forward with new clients.
Right, and so it's one of those things where, like you said, we can serve a lot of different clients, and so maybe if you come in and say you're young and you're just looking at starting investing or starting a business, we can be there to support you throughout your entire life. Like you said, as your business grows, your family grows, and even when you start to transition, into retirement. And that's what really, I think, is fun for us, because we can actually have a wonderful long-term relationship with our clients.
Absolutely. And guys, as you've noticed during this live, I've been scrolling through the website and putting it up on the screen for you, because the website is very extensive. Y'all have a lot of information on your website. It really describes what you do. You have the blog on there. Of course, you have your podcast. So tell us a little bit about the education that you provide there.
Right. So I am a big proponent of being a lifelong learner. In other words, you can call me a nerd or a geek, but I think that that's so important, even as adults, to continually learn. And so with estate planning, with financial planning, there's so much information out there. We want to make sure that we are giving good advice. So we have a lot of different information on the website. Like you said, we have our blogs. We actually do webinars. You can watch them from your home, and you can learn something new. We do have the podcast. We've been doing the podcast for, I think, 2 years, almost 3 years now, which is a favorite of mine. But really, the goal is to educate people out there. A lot of people don't know about, do I need a will? Do I need a trust? What's best for retirement? How do I take the best Social Security benefit? And so being able to put that information out there even before they come in and talk to us is really good, because I do think, as attorneys or advisors, sometimes people can be scared or intimidated to come talk to us. They're worried, like, oh, this sounds really expensive, or they're going to talk over my head, and I'm just not going to know what they're saying, but I'm going to be too embarrassed to say it. We don't want that. And so it is really important that all of our clients understand what we're recommending and what they're doing with their money and, for their loved ones. And so we always want to make sure that they feel good about those decisions.
And your business really is built on relationships. I mean, you get to know these people very intimately as far as their finances, how their, family dynamic is. And so learning that and navigating those relationships that they have and with you, it becomes a very personal process that y'all have to walk people through.
Absolutely, but it needs to be, because if I don't understand your family, and if I don't understand, even those deep down fears, I can't make those recommendations and solve those problems. And so for everyone that comes in our conference room, I tell them, this is confidential, regardless of whether you hire us or not. Can we please just be open? Let's talk about, what you're worried about, what are your goals, and then we can actually, once we get to know them, we can make a really good recommendation.
And with that being said, not knowing if y'all might be the right fit for them, I've met your office staff. They're all so sweet, and they can give them a call and find out if y'all might be the right fit, right?
Absolutely. And so we really, if you're interested in at least learning more and to see, can we help you, I would say to call the office. You can schedule a 15-minute call with our client services director, and she will make sure you get to the right attorney or advisor. And so we do that before you ever have to schedule an in-person meeting. That way you're comfortable. She will walk you through the process. Here's what we do next. And so that has been really helpful.
Yeah, and making sure, again, you want it to be the right fit, whether it's with y'all or not. You just want the people that are needing help to find those right resources.
Absolutely. And if we can't help, then we have a referral network where we can make sure that you get to the right place. We're not simply going to say, nope, sorry, we can't help. We want to put you in touch. And so that's really big with our client services director, or really anybody that you call in our office, to make sure that you get the help even if we can't help you.
Absolutely. So again, guys, if you're watching this on our Facebook and you have any questions while we finish up this live stream, make sure you ask them there. That can be about, tax preparation, estate planning, retirement, anything that Carrie has talked about that you have questions about, or, this might be a situation, can you help me? Go ahead and put them in the comment box there, and I'll get to them before we sign off today. But one thing I wanted to talk about, again, we've kind of talked about the resources that you put out on your website, but you also have an in-person workshop that's going to be happening next month.
Yes, and we're really excited just because basically, it was COVID in 2020 and still 2021.
Yeah.
We didn't get to do live workshops. We did a lot of webinars and things like that. And while that was helpful, it's not the same as having a live workshop.
Mm-hmm.
So we are so excited to be bringing that back. Our estate planning workshop will be on October 5th at First National Bank in Jonesboro at the Hilltop location. It starts at 2 o'clock. And this will be our only estate planning workshop for the end of the year. So we really encourage people, if you want to learn more about estate planning and asset protection, then to give us a call at the office or go on our website and go ahead and get that reservation in.
Right, and I was just showing, guys, if you go to resources, workshops, just click right there on the Your Legacy Matters workshop, scroll down, and you're going to be able to go ahead and register and reserve your seat. So it's a super easy process as far as getting signed up.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're not wanting to go through the website, then just give us a call at the office, and Allison will be happy to take that reservation.
Perfect. And I just put the number for the website back up on screen so you can see that if you need to jot it down or give them a call to get registered for that workshop. But Carrie, really, I just want to reiterate to people that this, you have services for so many different types of people to make sure that all of their assets are going to be accounted for. And, we're getting close to the end of the year, although it seems crazy that it's almost October. It's almost going to be tax season again. There's so many things you can do at the end of the year to maybe help get ready for that. So I know a lot of people probably need that help.
Right, and so we do get pretty busy at end of year tax planning because you don't want to roll around till January and then say, oh, what should I have done to reduce my taxes? Most strategies are gone. And so definitely, if you're worried about overpaying in taxes, please give us a call now. Let's get a plan in place. But also estate planning. We usually toward the end of the year, New Year's resolutions. A lot of people are like, I'm going to get that will put in place. I'm going to name guardians for my children. I'm going to finally get my retirement plan in order. But we're definitely here to help, whether that's end of the year or if we see you after the first of the year.
Perfect. So guys, make sure you give them a call if you need any of their services. And again, QuraishiLaw.com is a great website with so many resources on there, and the podcast that Carrie does. So make sure you check that out as well. If you have any questions and you're watching this on Facebook, go ahead and put them there. I know y'all can go back later and look at those, and they can get to those questions as well. But thank you so much for watching today, and have a great rest of your day.